Alright guys, today we are finally talking about the Google Pixel 6 Pro. Today I'm not going to talk about the camera in the Google Pixel 6 Pro because by now there are a lot of videos out there that you guys can probably see all about that camera. In the future, I'll do a video about that, but right now we're just going to talk about what I really think about this Pixel 6 Pro. I know I wasn't going to talk about photos, but the Magic Eraser is something I definitely have to touch on. Now the Magic Eraser, if you guys don't already know, if you guys take a picture of something and then someone in the back is photobombing or you caught something that you didn't like, the Magic Eraser could erase that out of that image. And so when you look at it, it's like it never was there in the first place. So kind of like what Photoshop does, but on a phone. This is the Google Pixel 5a, and as you may know, they used to always have this back button for fingerprint scanning. This Pixel 6 Pro does not have it, even though Pixel 6 doesn't have it. So now they moved it to the front screen. And if you look at it right here, see that little dot right there? That's the fingerprint scanner. If you press it, it lights up a little bit, and then you get in. Oop. I don't put it on my index, but here it is. Just like that. I think the light right there is really cool because it kind of just shows you where it's supposed to be and if you're really getting it right. So it lights it up. I don't think that it's super slow and I don't think that it's a problem. Honestly, how it unlocks is really good enough for me. Just like that, and it unlocks. And when I'm holding my phone, all I do is just press it. It makes things pretty easy because it fits my hand just nicely. I love the fact that this phone does show you where the fingerprint scanner is. Some phone that I've used in the past, it doesn't show, and I just honestly have no idea where it is, and I miss it a lot. With this, you just put your finger on it and it unlocks. Makes things a lot easier. If I would recommend you guys to get a Google Pixel phone, I would recommend you to get the Google Pixel 6 Pro or the Google Pixel 6. The reason why is because now it has 120 Hz. 120 Hz makes the phone look so much better, especially now that all the Pro line phones are all 120 Hz. You don't want to be getting one that isn't 120 Hz, just because when you're scrolling through it, it actually feels a lot smoother. Now when I go back to a phone that does not have 120 Hz, I can definitely see the difference. So it's definitely like the iPhone 13, the Samsung phone. This phone, the Google Pixel 5a, does not have 120 Hz. So when I'm scrolling through, I actually see that jitter. So I've told you guys in the past that I really don't like bigger phones because I love the way my iPhone 13 Pro feels. I think that's like the perfect size. The Google Pixel 6 is a little bit bigger than what I would like, especially because of me, I have smaller hands. So when I'm holding this, it does look nice because the screen is big and it's bright. So you kind of see everything. It vibrates as well. It's nice, okay? But I just prefer smaller phones. Not super small like the mini, but small like a regular phone. So it just fits in my pocket really nicely. This, I don't know, it kind of makes a big square dent in my pocket. Big screen does look nice when you're using social media because the whole screen shows you stuff. So that's pretty awesome. The battery life in the Google 6 Pro is good. And I wouldn't say it's great because I've seen better. I would just say it's good. Let me show you guys. Right now I have 23%, and I honestly didn't use this phone as my primary phone. I just use this phone all around. I carry with me, I look through Instagram, TikTok, but I don't use it as my primary phone, so it doesn't text, it doesn't do calls, and it's already at 23%. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Probably because of the 120 Hz, all of the software that's inside. The Pixel 5a has way better battery life, but it also doesn't have those features. We have to talk about this big camera hump, you know. Ultimately, some people were saying that when you have a big hand, you can kind of use it to like support your hand so it doesn't drop. I don't feel the rock on it, so it doesn't rock back and forth when you're pressing it. So when you're using it, it kind of slants up just a tiny bit. So it's not just flat on the table. You kind of slant it, so it kind of you see what you're looking at if you just leave it on the table. So that brings us to the price. This phone is about $799 and the regular version is $599. For these prices, this is definitely worth the money. This phone, if it was like $599, I'm thinking about getting it. just to have it because it's so useful. The recorder, the translator, speech to text. Let me talk to you guys about speech to text. I haven't said this, but since I had this phone, I have not typed. Like everything I've done is through speech to text. Okay, not entering password and like security stuff like that, but going through Twitter, answering my YouTube comments, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it may be, I have not typed anything on this phone, which is crazy because the swipe to text is super nice, but the speech to text, it's even better. It's so accurate, it puts punctuation there for you. I've been talking about everything good about this phone, so let's talk about the bad. There's only a couple things that I think this phone sucks at. And I wouldn't even just say this phone, I say a lot of the newer premium phone now is the glass back. Look at this. I cleaned this right before this video, and now that I'm just doing this video and you already can see like the fingerprints on it. Honestly, it looks good, yeah, but when I have all these fingerprints on it, it doesn't look good anymore. And if you say, go put a case on it or go put a skin on it, stop it. Because when you do that, don't you just destroy the whole purpose of having the glass on there in the first place? The second thing is looking at the screen of this phone and watching videos on it. My iPhone is actually sharper than this Google phone, which isn't a super bad thing. It's only when you really look up close into the detail, you kind of notice it. But if you're using it on the daily, you probably won't notice that at all. But the fact that I know it kind of bothers me in a way, just a tiny bit. But it's not a deal breaker. Those are the two little things that I don't like about this phone. Since I first got it, I've been using it for 2 weeks, and those are the only two things. If you're an iPhone user like myself, and if you want to switch to Android, this is the phone you should probably switch to. It's super easy to use. It doesn't have all these bloatware like some other phones that I know. This has all Google stuff that's already installed in here. You're talking about YouTube, you're talking about Google Mail, you're talking about all those things that's already installed because it's Google phone. To me, this is the best Android phone out right now. And it's the best Android platform if you want to jump over from iOS. This is the Google Pixel 6 Pro.